All right, let me dive into a design style that's all about personality. We're talking eclectic interior design.
Oh, it's a fun one.
Yeah, it's where like vintage charm meets modern flair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like global finds mixed with personal treasures.
Exactly. So if you're even thinking about a home makeover or you just, love design, this deep dive is going to help you kind of become like a true eclectic enthusiast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eclectic design is really all about breaking the mold. You're not constricted by rules.
Yeah.
You really get to express yourself and create a space that reflects your journey.
So it's more than just like a style, right? It's like a visual autobiography.
It is, yeah. It's told through furniture and decor.
When I first heard the term eclectic, I'm not going to lie, I pictured a room that was kind of just like a mishmash of random stuff.
Right.
But I'm getting the feeling that it's much more than that. It's like curated chaos, would you say?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Eclectic design is about carefully blending different styles, different eras, even cultural influences. So you get to break free from like those traditional design
Oh,
rules
I like that.
and just create a space that feels authentic to you.
So it's not just throwing a bunch of random things together.
No,
There's an art to it.
absolutely.
Okay, so what are like some of the tools, like some of the things that can help you create that curated, eclectic look?
Well, one of the most important things is mixing styles and eras.
Hmm.
So think about like a mid-century modern chair
Okay,
next to an antique writing desk.
I can picture that.
That unexpected combination is what makes it so dynamic and exciting.
I see. So how do you prevent it from getting too chaotic or too disjointed?
You start with a neutral canvas.
Okay.
So like soft grays, beiges, off-whites for your walls.
Okay.
Even bigger furniture pieces. That gives you a foundation to then layer those bolder colors and patterns.
So it's almost like you're creating like a stage for all these statement pieces to
Exactly.
really kind of stand out.
Yeah, it keeps everything balanced. So
Okay.
your eye can appreciate each element.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so I'm thinking about color and patterns. Those seem pretty key for creating that eclectic energy, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so how do you incorporate those elements without making it too much, without it being like sensory overload?
It's all about balance and like the interplay between patterns. So a good example would be pairing geometric patterns with florals.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, or you could ground like really busy prints with simpler backgrounds.
Oh, okay.
So like if you have a vibrant kilim rug,
Mm-hmm.
which has, really intricate patterns, you could layer that over a natural fiber rug that has like a more subtle texture.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's one of the things I like about eclectic design is that it focuses on personal collections.
Hmm.
It's like you're celebrating your travels and your hobbies.
Exactly. It tells your story.
Yeah, and all your quirky finds. Like how
Yeah.
how do you kind of present those without it becoming too cluttered?
You want to think about layered vignettes. So group things of varying heights and textures on shelves, on mantles.
Okay.
You can even do like shadow boxes
Oh yeah, I love shadow
to
boxes.
showcase smaller objects.
Okay.
Or even create a gallery wall
Hmm.
with framed photos, artwork, even some 3D objects.
Okay, so it's like a curated exhibit, but in
Exact.
your own home. I like that. Okay, let's talk furniture. I'm kind of picturing a mix of like antique finds, modern pieces, maybe some DIY projects.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Am I on the right track?
You are. Eclectic spaces really thrive on furniture that has character, like personality.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to mix and match seating styles.
Okay. Okay.
So you could have like a sleek, modern sofa next to a vintage armchair with a unique patina. That unexpected pairing creates the eclectic vibe.
Okay. So where do you think people should start looking for these eclectic treasures?
Well, antique stores, flea markets,
Of course. Yeah.
those are treasure troves.
Yeah. Those are fun.
You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah. The thrill of the hunt.
Estate sales are good for, those bigger statement pieces with history.
Hmm.
And then online marketplaces too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There are so many hidden gems out there.
Okay. So what if you find a piece that's almost perfect, but it needs a little love?
That's where customization comes in.
Mhm.
Eclectic design is all about DIY and
I
upcycling.
like that. Yeah.
So you can repaint a vintage dresser a fun color,
Oh yeah.
reupholster a chair with a funky fabric.
Okay.
You can add new hardware to a piece.
Yeah, give it a new life.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
We've talked about the how.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about the why. Like what draws people to this style? What are the benefits of embracing this eclectic lifestyle?
Well, one of the best things about it is the ability to create a truly personal space.
Hmm,
Your home becomes a reflection of you,
I like that. Yeah.
your passions, your experiences. It's like curating your own personal museum.
Yeah. So would you say that's part of what makes it so timeless?
Yeah, absolutely. An eclectic home can change with you as your tastes change,
Hmm.
as you find new items. You can easily incorporate them into your existing decor without having to redo everything.
Yeah. So you don't feel stuck
Right.
in a certain period.
Exactly. It's always evolving.
Okay, I like
It
that.
stays fresh and engaging.
Said adapts. That's great.
Yeah, welcome back.
Okay, so now that we kind of got a feel for, the spirit of eclectic design,
Yeah.
let's talk about how we actually make this happen. Like, how do we create this in our own spaces? Give us the tips, the tricks.
Let's get practical.
Because yeah, let's get practical. Where do we start?
Well, I always say begin with focal points.
Hmm.
They're the elements in the room that really grab your attention.
Okay.
Just like a great story has, key moments that pull you in.
Yeah.
Your design needs that too.
So those pieces that kind of make you stop and be like, whoa.
Yeah, it creates that visual hierarchy.
Okay. Okay. So what are some examples of focal points in like a really cool eclectic interior?
Well, it could be a statement wall, maybe painted a dramatic color,
Okay.
or a striking piece of artwork
Mhm.
that just draws your eye right when you walk in.
I'm picturing like a really cool tapestry with like intricate details.
Yes.
Or like, a gallery wall full of maybe botanical prints or travel photos.
Exactly, you got it. And these focal points are like anchors.
Okay.
They prevent the space from feeling too scattered, gives the eye a place to rest.
It's like those landmarks that help you navigate a city.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay, so once you've got your focal points, then how do you build around them in that eclectic way?
That's where layering comes in.
Okay.
It's all about creating depth and visual interest.
Okay.
Think of your space as a 3D canvas. You want to add those different heights, textures, scales.
So paint me a picture. What does layering actually look like in an eclectic space?
Okay, well, picture a sleek, low-profile sofa,
Okay.
but you pair it with a tall, kind of sculptural floor lamp.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, or maybe a chunky knit throw on a modern armchair.
Okay.
That contrast in texture and height, that's what makes it interesting.
And I'm seeing how these kind of unexpected pairings bring in that eclectic energy.
Right.
It's like they're having a conversation.
Exactly, yeah. And don't be afraid to juxtapose a rustic coffee table
Hmm.
with a glass top side table, or even mix metals like brass and copper.
Okay, so you don't want everything to match perfectly.
No, no, not at all. It's about those relationships between objects.
Okay. But how do you keep it balanced? I mean, I'm picturing a scale, like tipping back and forth.
Balance is key.
Yeah.
A good tip is to think about the rule of three.
Okay.
When you're grouping objects, odd numbers just tend to work better.
Really? Why is that?
It creates a sense of asymmetry. Our eyes are naturally drawn to things that aren't perfectly symmetrical.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not just like a random design rule.
No, it's based on how our brains work.
That makes sense. What else? What other balancing tips can you share?
Well, think about scale and proportion. Make sure the large pieces don't overpower the small ones.
Okay.
So if you've got a grand antique armoire, you might balance it with a smaller side table or some framed prints.
It's about giving every piece its moment to shine.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, any other tricks to kind of tie everything together?
Repetition. If there's a color or pattern you love, use it in different elements throughout the room.
Okay.
It could be as simple as a throw pillow that matches a piece of art or a vase.
So it creates that like thread.
Yeah, like a recurring theme.
Okay, now I've heard designers talk about negative space, but I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, yeah. Negative space is just the empty areas in a room.
Really?
Yeah, the space between your furniture and, your decor.
But you would think you'd want to fill all that, right?
I know, right? But negative space is super important. It lets the eye rest, prevents it from feeling too crowded.
So it's almost like the pauses in music?
Yeah, exactly. And especially in an eclectic space where there's so much going on,
Mhm.
you need that negative space to balance it out.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's about showcasing your treasures, but also giving them room to breathe.
Yes, exactly. And when it comes to those collections, remember those layered vignettes.
Yeah.
You can group items by theme like antique cameras, travel souvenirs.
Each vignette tells a story.
Yeah, adds that personal touch.
What about like, those little travel mementos?
Oh, yeah.
Like you go on a trip and you get like, I don't know, a little elephant or something.
Yeah, those are great.
How do you work those in?
Those are great in an eclectic home because they bring in those personal stories.
Okay.
But instead of scattering them, group them in a designated area,
Oh, okay.
like a shelf for things from a particular trip,
Okay.
or a vignette on a side table.
Oh, it's like a little portal to your memories,
Exactly.
right, in your living room. So what other creative ways are there to kind of display those, personal collections, make them feel intentional?
Shadow boxes are great for smaller items,
Oh, yeah.
like vintage postcards or buttons.
Oh,
We
wow.
can also do a gallery wall,
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
but make it specific to your collection with framed photos, artwork, even 3D objects.
So it's a gallery wall that evolves.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And the key is have fun, don't be afraid to experiment, try different arrangements, swap things out,
Mhm.
break the rules a little bit.
Oh, I like that.
Eclectic design is all about you and making a space that feels authentic.
Okay. Okay, welcome back to our eclectic adventure. We've covered the key elements, the practical tips, all that stuff. But now I kind of want to know, what does it mean to actually live an eclectic life?
That's a good question. I think it's more than just a design style.
Okay.
It's a mindset.
Okay.
It's a way of like looking at the world with curiosity,
Hmm.
a sense of adventure.
So you're always looking for those hidden gems, things other people might miss.
Yeah, it's about being open to new experiences, embracing diversity, and finding beauty in unexpected places.
That sounds pretty amazing, actually.
It is,
But I'm sure there are, some challenges too, right?
of course.
Both in design and just, in life in general.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges, especially with design, is clutter.
Yeah, I can see that with so many like different elements.
Right. It's easy to get overwhelmed
Okay.
if you're not like super careful.
So how do you balance that? Like how do you embrace that abundance, those collections?
Mindfulness.
Okay?
Really ask yourself like, does this piece speak to me? Does it add to my story? Does it spark joy?
Yeah.
Or is it just taking up space?
Okay, so it's quality over quantity.
Exactly. Surround yourself with things you truly love.
What other challenges do you think come up when you're embracing this eclectic lifestyle?
Developing a good eye, it takes practice
Yeah.
to mix and match all these styles, eras, and make it look good.
Yeah, it can't just be random, right?
It's got to feel harmonious, cohesive.
So it's like being a conductor of an orchestra. All these different instruments have to come together.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay, so how do you develop that conductor's ear?
Well, I think it starts with understanding like the basics of different design styles,
Okay.
knowing their key elements and how they work together. You don't need to be an expert, but it helps to know the basics.
Okay, so it's like learning a new language,
Right.
and then you can, create your own unique sentences.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different arrangements, play with colors, textures, and see what you like.
Okay, so just keep trying things,
Yeah, and the more you explore, the more you develop your own intuition.
like any art form.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, but let's talk about like the good stuff, the rewards. What's great about um, living this eclectic life?
I think one of the best things is having a truly personal space
Mm-hmm.
that really reflects you, your passions, your experiences. It's like a visual autobiography full of things that spark conversations and memories.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Your home tells your story. Is that part of what makes it so timeless?
I think so. Eclectic spaces, they're dynamic.
Yeah.
They can evolve with you as your tastes change, as you collect new things. You can just incorporate them into your decor. You don't have to start over.
It grows with you. I like that.
Right, so it stays fresh and relevant.
Okay, that's a big benefit.
Yeah.
Any other big benefits to this whole eclectic approach?
I think it's a really sustainable way to decorate.
Okay, how so?
Well, it encourages you to give new life to old pieces, vintage furniture, antiques, upcycle things, appreciate the imperfections.
Yeah, it's like each piece has a history.
Right, and it's a more mindful way to consume.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so as we wrap up this eclectic journey, any final thoughts?
I just want to say the eclectic lifestyle, it's not just about pretty spaces.
Okay.
It's about having a curious mind, an open heart, appreciating the richness and diversity of the world.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so as you're creating your eclectic haven, remember it's a journey of self-discovery. Keep your eyes open, let
Hmm.
your personality shine.
That's a great takeaway. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this eclectic deep dive. We hope you're feeling inspired to, embrace your own style, create spaces that reflect your unique journey. And until next time, happy curating.